Morning, good morning. Good morning on this great Tuesday morning. And so I am believing that this is a day that has started out well for you. And my belief is it's going to get better. So, as always, I'm asking you to maybe begin to share our broadcast with some family and some friends right now. Let them know we're on. I was not here last week. I was supposed to be on vacation, and a couple of things did not go as planned. But I am here today, so I'm hoping you are doing well. And again, go on and share and let people know that we are on the air. We've got a good word for you today. Maybe it's a little different word for me. Uh, it's not as aggressive as aggressive. But I believe it's still apostolic. It's important. And so gather some people around and come and join us. So I appreciate you all giving me time, taking some time out of your day to be with me. And I don't take that for granted. Um, I just speak the blessings of God upon you. Some people are tuning in from work, some are tuning in from home. There are certain people that they take a break around this time on Tuesday so that they can be with us. And so it's good to be with you all. It's good to see Deborah Taylor. We go way back, and I've been thinking about you. So it's good to hear that to see that you're tuning in with us today. For our TDP family, we did not announce it Sunday, but we will be online tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. So we're going to get that word out. So we will be online. So tune in with us tomorrow. So it's going to be good. So I'm going to have someone with me tomorrow, and so it's going to be a blessing to you. All right. So I just speak the blessing of God upon you. And I want to kind of start with a dream. It's not a deep dream. It's not a deep dream. It's just a face. There was a face that came across, my head while I was sleeping, and it was a good friend of mine. It was a good friend of mine, and I just looked. It was almost like he was calling out to me. He was calling out to me, or calling out, and it was almost like he had been forgotten. He had been forgotten, and that was kind of interesting. Not like he was in a bad shape or anything along those lines, just that he had been a little bit forgotten. And the Lord just kind of quickened a word to me, and I want to share that with you all today. I want to share that with you all this morning. And really, the word is showing kindness. Showing kindness. I want you to say that to yourself right now. I will show kindness. I will show kindness. And and like I said, I don't think we're going to be on here long today, but I, I I want to kind of bring that to the surface right now about kind of what was going on inside of me when I saw this face come before me. And it is remembering, remembering. And I think there's a passage of scripture that I think kind of speaks to what I want to talk about today. And I don't want you all to dismiss this, okay? I don't want you all to dismiss what I'm saying. And about going an extra mile. This is the story that I want to pick up out of the scriptures. This is after David has become king. This is after he has become king, and I'm looking at Second Samuel, and by the time you get to chapter 9, this David has gone through conquest, and the kingdom is advancing. Um, and then David remembers something. He remembers a vow. He remembers a vow. He remembers some things. He remembers a conversation he and Jonathan had. Jonathan, Saul's son, and like David's best friend. And one of the things that they talked about was remembering one another if one would die. But not just remembering one another, but to also remember their family. And so on this occasion, David begins to think about that. And you'll see this in 2 Samuel chapter 9. And it says, Now David said, Is there anyone else? Is there anyone who is left of the house of Saul, that I may show him kindness for Jonathan's sake? He's remembering a vow. Do you remember people that were there when you were coming up? Do you remember people who helped when you kind of felt like you were nobody? Do you remember those people? People who gave you some money, people who uh, encouraged you, people who walk with you, and as time has gone by and distance has come between you and them, maybe they're living in a different part of the country, all of those kinds of things, and everybody's doing life. They're doing life. But for a moment, I'm asking you, do you remember some of those people who touched your life? They touched your life. Touched your life. I One of the first names that comes to my mind is my Uncle Mylan. My Uncle Mylan. How he poured into my life, how he was there when I was just a kid and I didn't even recognize what all he was doing for me. But I look back on it now and I'm saying how much of a blessing he was in my life. And for a moment, I want you all to it's not like I want to take you down memory lane, but many times we forget. We forget. Do you remember um, when David interprets the dream and the baker finds himself in the palace, but he forgets about David? So I want some of that, what I want you all to think about, but not just going in the distance, but also in the presence right now. So David says, that I may show him kindness for Jonathan's sake. He doesn't know who's left, but he's saying any one of the house of Saul. You'll go further down, and then it begins to say, Then the king said, Is there not still someone of the house of Saul? And listen what he says, To whom I may show the kindness of God. That I may show the kindness of God. I'm talking a little bit today about kindness, kindness. And today maybe I'm talking a little bit more about intentional kindness. And I believe that people that are tuning in right now, you are kind people by nature. But sometimes because of what's taking place in life, sometimes we forget. Hmm. This word kindness, when you begin to look it up, kindness is a quality of being that involves helping others, and doing so without expecting anything in return. Helping others without expecting anything in return. It can be expressed through acts of generosity, consideration, and concern for others. So kindness really doesn't always cost any money. Maybe it'll require some time. Mm. But then as I was studying this about kindness, it says there's a deeper level of kindness. And so it says kindness in a deeper level is being compassionate, which means to really be there for someone, listening intently to their suffering or just sitting with them and silently supporting them. Kindness. And again, I know I'm talking to people who are kind, but maybe there's somebody in your life that you haven't thought about for a long time, and they were really good to you. Well, anyway, let's go back to our story with David. And so they find someone And really what they find is they find a son of Jonathan, a son of Jonathan, Mephibosheth, Mephibosheth, Mephibosheth. There we go, Mephibosheth. Now, Mephibosheth, when the kingdom is coming, when the house of Saul is coming under attack and being overthrown, Mephibosheth, someone grabs him and begins to run with him, and he falls and he becomes lame in both of his legs. And so now he is living in a town called Lodibar. Lodibar. I can remember Lodibar in sermons as a kid. And I was saying, man, that's got to be a bad place to be. Lodibar. Lodibar means the place of no posture. Listen to one of the definitions of Lodibar. It is no word or no communication. It is a place of isolation. That Mephibosheth is in a place of isolation. He's in a place where there's no communication. He is cut off. And so David finds out about him, and David goes to him. And so, and here's the interesting thing that I want you all to kind of pull into this issue of what I'm talking about today. The thought is, when David comes to see Mephibosheth, the thought is usually kings kill the offspring of previous rulers. So it could have been that what's going on in Mephibosheth's heart and in his mind is, now that David has shown up, David's about to kill him because he's out of the house of Saul. He is the son of Jonathan. But David has a different thing. He's coming to him and he wants to show him kindness. And what he does is, David now gives him land. He gives him land. The land that was Saul's land, now he gives it to Saul's grandson. And then he also hires servants to take care of the land. And then he gives him a place at the king's table. Wow. Somebody say kindness, unusual kindness. That was in the power. David had that power in his hand that he could show kindness. Today, I'm encouraging you as I'm talking. Maybe your mind is kind of processing, and I can understand how busy your life gets. I know mine gets busy. And there are all kinds of things that are pulling on to you. And then there are people that you are showing kindness, and people are pulling on you and they are calling you. And sometimes certain people, they get lost. They're low maintenance. They don't ask for anything. Even when they're going through a difficult time, they push through it, and they don't require anything from you. Do you know those kinds of people? Sometimes they say the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and those that don't say anything, sometimes it feels like they get ignored. Well, today, I'm asking you to remember them. I'm asking you to remember them. And I'm encouraging you in the next few days for you to reach out to someone. Tell them that they made a difference in your life. Let them know, especially if someone who's a little bit older than you, who's a little bit older than you. And maybe what they were doing was, it was just part of their nature. But when you look back on it, they imparted something in your life. Maybe it's someone else that maybe you don't really know them very well. Just like David did not know Mephibosheth, that David didn't really know him. But David found out about him. And maybe there's somebody that you've passed or you know of, but you don't know them. And maybe today will be a day or this week will be a time that you're going to do some kind of act of kindness. When David reached out to this man, it was not just that he was kind, he brought honor to him. This was the grandson of a king, and he was in a place of isolation. Who knows how many people walked by, looked at him, looked down on him, huh? And David restored honor to him. I have found out as you get older, hmm, uh, some of the people in your life, uh, you think about them and you wonder what's going on in their lives. And I found out when people get older, they like to hear from folks. They like to hear from folks. They like for people to remember them. They don't ask for it, but it does something for them. Well, maybe there's a Mephibosheth in your life that maybe God is asking you to do something to bring honor, to bring joy into their lives. Well, I want to let you know after my dream, uh, I've got a phone call to make. I've got to make a connection with someone. But it also stirred some other things in my life about some people that I need to contact, that I need to show kindness to. I have found out that people who just do their job, they just do their job, and many times people don't always express their appreciation. And then there are people who it feels like they don't do their job or they make mistakes, and as soon as they do something right, everyone is making a celebration over them. Well, let's remember someone today. I know this is probably a different kind of message for me, but I still believe it's still apostolic because David was a king in a form of an apostle in that day and time. And he took a break from everything that he's doing and he looked and he searched and he found someone that he could be a blessing to. And we know this story. It speaks of how Jesus has found us, how Jesus went to Lodibar and he found us, where we were in a place of isolation. We were in a place where we were cut off from the Father. And Jesus went and found us and pulled us out. And he set us at a table. He set us at the king's table. And he watched over us and he cared for us for the rest of our lives. Well, let's do this as well. Come on, just before I end my time, I want you to take a moment and think about it right now. Who is it that God is saying for you to show kindness to? Is there a couple of names? A couple of people? Is there a way? And what is the way that God wants you to show kindness? What's a way that you can show kindness? And remember, you're doing this for them, even though you're going to receive the blessing, doing it for them. And when I say doing it for them, I have seen so often that people will give a gift to me that they want for themselves, but it's not really a gift that really I desire. So don't do it for you, do it for them. Find a way to show kindness and place honor. And remember, if it's someone that's been in your past, you'll tell them, you made a difference in my life. Could be a teacher. It could have been somebody in a previous season of ministry in your life. Take a time and give them a call or find a way to show kindness and show honor. All right. Well, I bless you. And again, for our people of the dwelling place, we'll be online tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Look forward to being with you. God bless you. And as always, now go and take on the day.